What is happening, folks? How are y'all all doing? Alright, let me see if I can fix my lighting. My face is a little dark. Yes, no. How you doing? Sianta? Miss Psycho Chomp? Oh, you're not gonna give me that time. Holly, how you doing? Marissa? Hello? Yes, no, don't make me mute you. It's not Chappy. I'm not Dutch. African. Whoops. I just unplugged something. Unplugged. Oh. No, it's fine. Right. Sweet. Oh, but I did unplug the power. Maybe I need that. Whatever. Alright, sorry about that. Did your pick give me any ideas? Some actually. I've got to have time to go through and edit them. Laptop up here because she cooks. Like literally, it's a spicy enchilada. Holly, how have I been? I've been good. Can't complain. My phone's probably gonna get shut off because I told my phone company I'd pay them $250 tomorrow. But that ain't gonna happen. So that sucks. But what am I looking for? Favorites. Don't go jobless, kids, because it makes bills back up. Spicy enchilada, yeah. Work is great. Actually, I'm really good at it. My Chappy's back and he's better than ever. Hey, my Chappy's back. You're ridiculous, bud. But you know I love you. That was the first time I blew out my nose. So we're gonna do some spoopy stories. Yeah. You got more for the gallery? I will. I'm so bad about checking that. Oh, yes. Oh, I love the spooky ghost face. It's so good. They're pretty darn good. When are we vaping? Dr. Pepper. Whenever you want, bud. I only use my Juul, really. Hey, Lou, what's happening, bud? How you been? There you go. Too many cables. Alright. I think maybe we can read a story or two if you guys are down. I'm kind of far away from the light switch. About 2 feet short. So... busy as mate. Ready, moving, house 2. How am I doing? I'm doing good. Oh, look at my hair. That's not any better. Yeah, work's good. Money sucks, but work's good. Have I ever dumped someone? Yeah, I have. It's tough to do, and it's not something you enjoy doing, unless you're, dating Satan incarnate. But, oh, that's the camera. Maybe I need that one. Everyone is streaming. Let me get this light real quick. Y'all won't be able to see me for a second. Was I dating Satan? I was not. Um, I'm still here. I'm still here. No, I'm just a disembodied head with arms. There we go. That's a little better. Now I don't have any back support, so my back's even messed up. Horn dog, you trying to tell me you need to dump somebody? Are you trying to dump me, bud? You can tell me. I won't hate you forever, you bastard. Have I ever been in a relationship with a demon? You know, I don't know. I mean, I suppose if I was, I really wouldn't know if they were any good at it. Aw, dumping someone freaking sucks. Even if you've come to hate that person. If you've come to hate that person, I mean, I've seen some pretty good breakup videos. I'm looking for some no sleeps. Let me see here. Anyone remember Dunkaroos? The cookies and icing? Sounds familiar. No sleep. No sleep. Alright. I've been flying for almost 30 hours and the flight attendants won't stop crying. This looks pretty good. There's the link. If you enjoy the story, please upvote their post. There we go. 30 hours or so, I hopped on a late night flight from New York heading to Los Angeles. After boarding, I saw that an entire row to myself. Takeoff passed without incident, and soon I stretched out for a nap across the row. Slept for a few hours. I don't know how long, but I woke up to some severe turbulence. It's possible that the lights in the cabin went out for a moment, but I was so disoriented, it's hard to say. I checked my phone to see that it was 4:03 a.m., which I figured gave me about an hour until we landed. When I looked out my window, I was shocked to see nothing but wide open ocean. My jaw dropped. There's obviously no ocean between New York and Los Angeles. I hit the button to call the flight attendant and spent the next few minutes racking my brain for a lake that could have possibly been big enough to explain what I was seeing. I jumped when the flight attendant flipped on the light. She was grinning from ear to ear, and tears were pouring down her cheeks. "How can I help you, sir?" she asked. I froze for a moment at her reaction before deciding to just ask my question. Where are we? Why does it look like we're flying over an ocean? She wiped her cheeks to clear the tears, still grinning wildly. Sir, we'll be landing in about an hour. Okay, thank you, I said. After she left, I checked the clock on my phone again. 4:03 a.m. blinked back at me. It hadn't changed. I'd have been waiting with my call light on for at least 5 minutes. How was it possible that I hadn't changed at all? I opened up my laptop and saw it too displayed 4:03 a.m. I pulled out my phone and started a stopwatch in the app. Spent the next 2 hours looking back and forth between the clocks, waiting for them to change. They never did. I tapped on the shoulder of an older woman sitting in the row ahead of me. She looked back, an annoyed expression across her face. Yes? She asked. Do you know how long until we land? I asked. She narrowed her eyes. That flight attendant said it would be about an hour. I shook my head in confusion. That flight attendant? We talked almost 2 hours ago? We should have landed already. She stared at me as if I was crazy. I was going to continue trying to convince her, but I felt a hand on my shoulder. I spun to see a male flight attendant grinning down at me, tears pinging off his cheeks into my shoulder. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to calm down, or I'll be calling the captain. I told him that it wouldn't be necessary, and I sat back. He removed his hand and stepped away. The flight attendants continued to stop by every few hours offering meals. My stopwatch continued to tick up. And now it's telling me that I've been on this plane for more than 30 hours. I've explored all the coach and tried talking to some of the other passengers, but they told me that they're expecting it to land in an hour or so. Around 3 hours ago, I tried getting into first class. I made it past the curtain, but was escorted back by two grinning flight attendants. Their grip on my arm was like an iron. Sir, the seatbelt sign is on, one said. Please remain in your seat with your buckle fastened. We'll be landing in about an hour. I've just given up hope when a woman came down the aisle dressed in a business suit. She didn't look at me or slow down. When she dropped a piece of paper on my tray, she made her way to the bathrooms at the back of the plane. I shot a look around before unrolling it. It said, Are you stuck too? I pulled out a pen and wrote, Yes, it's been 30 hours. I folded the scrap of paper and set it up on the tray closest to the aisle. She left the bathroom and picked it up as she passed. It's been 20 minutes since then, and I don't know why. But I don't think the flight attendants would like it if they know we were talking. It doesn't matter. I have to do something. I'll update you all with whatever happens next. And then it sends you to a link. That doesn't work. How are you guys doing? XO aim. I apologize. When I start a story, I don't usually pause. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope y'all are enjoying the story. Oh, it did load a website finally. You probably wouldn't like it to know that I was reading his story. Hey, Julie. How are you? See if we can find another no slep. I've been a search and rescue diver for 12 years. We've seen a lot of strange and disgusting things. But what I saw last weekend has me questioning both my job and reality. Hey, David. Long time no see. Well, let's try that story. Oh, she's healthy. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Take a hit of my trusty vape. Hit it wrong. Here we go. Party mode. I don't know how much of this you're picking up, but it's different colors. Ah, stop nose picking. I can't help it. Just regular. I need vape training. I may. Let's do this story. That was a good one. I've been involved with water search and rescue for 12 years now. I've seen a lot of upsetting and even unexplainable things in my time, but those pale in comparison to what I saw recently. No, I don't. Water search and rescue is often a depressing job. When someone gets lost in a forest, they can be found alive days later. But when we get a call, it's almost always body recovery. People don't last long in the water. I can't tell you exactly when, or where. Can't tell you when I live. I can't exactly tell you where, but I live in the northeastern territory, known for its water sports, fishing, kayaking, diving, whatever it is. Our waters probably have a solid reputation for it. Despite that, this area isn't some kind of resort. The waters are cold and oftentimes vicious. Search and rescue operations here can be grueling, and not many stick with it. There are fewer older guys who have been doing it longer than me, but I'm one of the most experienced around. Like I said before, this job is more body recovery than anything, especially here. We save more live moose from water than live human. And when I get a call about a missing child, well, we better just give our condolences. That's just how the waters are here. Our small town has one of the highest drowning rates in the country. But we look away and usually we find a body. But we look anyway and usually find a body. I apologize. I've considered quitting many times in my career. Most people quit after their first recovery. In training, we try to emphasize just how much water can distort a corpse, but nothing can prepare you for the harsh reality. Harsh. English is hard. Harsh reality. And it's not uncommon for us to find bodies bloated beyond recognition. Sometimes they can barely even seem human. A lot of divers don't last long after seeing something like that. But I continued to do it after all these years. I figured if I didn't, then no one would. However, the things I saw last week have made me reconsider that decision. I got a call around 11 a.m. A father had taken his 10-year-old son fly fishing. At one point, the father managed to stab a hook all the way through his finger. He went back up to his truck to get his first aid kit. The boy was gone when he returned a few minutes later. When I first heard the story, I hung my head in silence for a moment. It had been raining heavily for almost a month now, and the waters were running faster than ever. To make things worse, it was unusually cold for the season. A number of people had gone missing in recent weeks. Many of them have yet to be found. I had little hope in finding the boy alive. Me and a couple of the other divers were at the site where the boy went missing within an hour, and a larger search and rescue team located a few towns over was headed our way. We talked with the father and even searched the forest for a bit, hoping he had just wandered off. But eventually we realized that we would have to begin searching in the river. The moment I got in the water, I knew the boy was gone. The current was worse than it had ever been. Even I had difficulty navigating the icy water. We looked for hours in the surrounding areas and even expanded our search. Once over the larger team had arrived, the boy was nowhere to be found. I was surprised. I hadn't expected to find him alive, but I had at least anticipated finding a body. However, there was no trace of him. The sun got low and the air grew colder. We were considering calling it off as nightfall approached by resuming the search the next day when I discovered something. There's a lot of creek beds around the river. Many of them have dried up as a result of the encroaching vegetation or man-made efforts to divert the water. We usually don't pay any attention to them. However, with all of the recent rain, I noticed one of the larger creek beds had begun flowing again. See ya, Lou. Sorry. A surprising amount of water crashed through it, easily enough to carry a young boy. The creek ran directly across a bend in the river, connecting it at 2 points. I followed it and realized that the boy could have been located outside of our initial search area. As I approached where the creek reconnected with the main river, I felt a sinking feeling in my gut. There's a place in the river where not even search and rescue divers are supposed to go. It's known as bad water. This area lies 1/2.
1/2 is 0.
Nope, I didn't. The area. Siri got me. This area lies at 1/2 of the river and runs for about 100 yards. It's near a densely vegetated area, so we don't often have to worry about people swimming there, but a lot of disappearances occur in the surrounding waters. Despite that, I've been warned not to dive there since I began doing search and rescue. Supposedly the undercurrent is so strong that even the most experienced swimmer would be swept away in an instant. Don't go near bad water was the mantra of the older divers. The creek ended exactly in the center of Badwater region. As I reached it, I stopped and chewed my lip thoughtfully. If I went back and reported this to the other divers, they would tell me to let it go. They wouldn't let me dive there. But deep down, I felt that the boy's body must be tangled up in some of the weeds nearby. If only I could find it. I hated the idea of this kid being stuck down there, slowly bloating and rotting away while his parents sat at home wondering where their boy had gone. Badwater didn't seem to be a bad idea. I've seen rougher waters before, but I knew looks could be deceiving. Just below the surface, it could be flowing faster than I ever imagined, and I'd be swept away in an instant. Besides, I wasn't supposed to dive alone. I almost turned back, but something made me stay. I stared into the river for a moment, thinking of that boy. When I put my gear on and dropped into the icy waters, the first thing I noticed was that the current actually seemed pretty weak. As a matter of fact, it was weaker than the rest of the river. The water was extremely deep there, and I could only see the blackness below as I dove. I kicked deeper and deeper, thinking that the current might pick up lower down. But the opposite seemed to be true. The water almost was completely still. I went even deeper until finally green shapes began to materialize in front of me. I thought I'd finally reached the bed of weeds, but as I kicked lower, the truth came into full view. I felt the vomit come up at the sight, the odd and dangerous sensation when you're wearing a scuba mask. Countless arms stuck up from the ground below. I thought I'd come upon a trove of bodies, but the disgusting reality became even more apparent only a moment later. The arms grew directly from the ground. They even had roots that spread out for the base. It was as if someone had cut off hundreds of arms at the shoulder and planted them there. They were green, and I watched as they clutched at the water around them. They varied in size and seemingly age. Grotesque baby hands spread out near the bottom, and they opened and closed their fists angrily. Nope, hungrily. Sorry. It was then I saw the boy. His eyes stared sightlessly ahead as those grotesque arms pulled his dead body apart. I'm reading this wrong. Let me try that again. It was then I saw the boy. His eyes stared sightlessly ahead as those grotesque arms pulled him and his body downward. It seemed they had just gotten a hold of him. His arms yanked at it. Jesus, the arms yanked at him, burying him in the surrounding sediment. They pushed and writhed and squirmed until it was securely buried up to the chest. I stared in mesmerized horror. That was when the other bodies came into focus. There must have been at least 4 more, all in varying stages of decay. Some were bloated beyond recognition, only bulky, white masses that protruded loosely from the riverbed. Marissa, have a good night. Using them as fertilizer. The moment I clambered out of the water, I tore my mask off and retched. I couldn't stop thinking of those disgusting bodies, those grasping hands. They were like some sort of carnivorous plant. They were so humanoid. I vomited again at the thought. I frantically ran up to the base camp and pulled one of the other divers aside. Moose was the most experienced person on our team. He'd been diving for over 20 years. Ever since moving here, I told him about what I saw. I told him about what I saw, and when I finished, he stared at me in cold silence. I told you, never go to Blackwater. Never go near Blackwater. His voice contained an iciness that even his thick Louisiana accent couldn't conceal. That's what you're concerned about? I was incredulous. He placed a hand on my shoulder and squeezed tightly. Don't tell anyone else about this. If the others find out you went into Badwater, he trailed off and thought for a moment. Well, it won't be good. He shook his head like a disappointed father. But what about those things? I tried to keep my voice down, hoping that no one would hear us. How many people have died because of those effing things? Shut up, Moose said. We have an agreement. There's a reason why they only grow in bad water. Don't F this up. I started to say something, but the words caught in my throat. He was keeping something from me. He sighed, and I saw something like sadness behind his eyes. Sometimes you have to decide between the lesser of greater evils. Even the best possible decisions can still keep you up at night. He went silent for a moment and only stared at me. Don't tell anyone about this. Maybe one day you'll understand. We walked away after and called off the day's search. Despite what I told him, we continued to search for the next 2 days. By the third day, we called it off completely and gave our condolences to the family. I don't know what the F is happening. Moose has been acting different towards me ever since. There's an iciness to him. But every now and then he'll shoot me with a knowing glance. Like we're in some secret together. I've noticed the other divers acting strangely too. What did he mean by agreement? What the F were those things with the arms? I'm considering quitting and moving away from here. I can't live with the knowledge that those things are down there, slowly feeding off the body of a young boy, among other countless others. Well, that was kind of disgusting. Just an arm beast. The baby arms. So maybe we'll do one more. We don't really have that many people in here, do we? I'm looking for creepy story. The devil let me live so I could spread the word. Nah. Quincy, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's a healthy one. Bird, bird, bird. The bird is the word. Hi, 2142. Hello. Hello. Something just opened my window. Ooh. Let's see if I can fix my laptop. You hear the fighter jet firing up? Something just opened my window. It's a nice short one. Sorry, I can't make it be quiet unless I want my computer to burn down. I've already had one Asus computer burn up. Good news is the cookies will be done in 5 minutes. That's true. Something just opened my window by Sad White Rice. 3:27 a.m. I had just started to finally drift off into sleep. my warm blankets pulled over me, creating my own cozy little cocoon away from the world. I've always felt safe under the covers ever since I was a kid. It's been one of my true happy places, somewhere I could always relax after a long day. To me, the thin pieces of fabric feel almost impenetrable, like a suit of armor protecting me from the outside danger. At least they did. That's when I heard it, the distinct sound squeaking my bedroom window makes when it's open. The ambient noises from the outside now flooding into my bedroom. Crickets rubbing their wings, the gentle wind against the trees, the gentle crunching of leaves on the soft ground. Now I'm wide awake. I felt an indiscernible mix of fear and dread. I've always locked the window at night. I even remember doing it tonight, just a few hours ago. So how the hell something could have opened it from the outside is beyond me. I could hear something breathing across the room now, loud and uneven, like something trying to catch their breath after a long run or sprint. It doesn't sound human. It's hard to explain, but there's a certain animalistic quality in each breath. Feral is the closest thing that comes to mind. I want to look so badly. I try to force my body into action, to throw my covers off me and sprint out the room, to get up and fight off whatever is anything. But for some reason, I can't bring myself to do anything other than lie here, hold my breath, and listen. It's moving now, slowly. I can hear its joints pop in a quick, painful sounding bursts as it creeps. The smell is unbearable, a mix of sulfur, rust, and rotting meat that quickly spreads to every corner of my room, forcing me to silently gag as I cover my mouth. Worse, I swear that its breathing has just picked up even more. It sounds excited, almost giddy. Whatever it is, it's big enough to make my bed frame shake as it comes closer. I live alone in a rural part of Maine. The nearest town is 10 miles away. The closest neighbor is still at least 3-minute drive from my house. I'm not much of a fighter, and the only real weapon I have in the house are knives down in the kitchen. I would call 911, but I think the noise from my phone would only provoke whatever it is. Besides, I'd be gone, long gone, before help could arrive. It's standing over me now. I can feel it staring down at me through the blankets. Somehow, I think it knows I'm awake. There's more noise coming from the window now, gentle thuds one after the other. And what I've now realized is a low, rising growl. I've decided I'm going to try to run for it. I don't know if I'll even make it to the street, or if there's more of them out there already. But I have to try something. I can't just stay here and wait for them to pull back the covers themselves. If I don't make it, at least I know there's some kind of record of what happens to me tonight. I like that one. I mean, like this person was like under the sheets with the glowing light. Sitting there like this under the sheets. The song he chose. What are you talking about? Let me talking about bird. Bird, 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 bird. Bird, 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 bird. That's what I do, you know. Instead of calling someone, in the description. I had a pet once. It was an eyeball. He was good. He knew how to roll over and play dead. I miss him dearly. Well, folks, I've got to get out of here. It's been an eventful 43 minutes. But this fella, he's got to get some sleeps. Oh yeah. I'll bring the eyeball back out tomorrow. It's protecting my car right now. But yeah. So just a short little stream, couple stories. If we have anybody new here, I'd appreciate if you subscribe. I mean, trying to hit 1,000. I always have wonderful sleeps. Yeah, so y'all be good. You know, I love you all. Join the Discord if you're not already in there. And I will talk to you all later. And hit me up in Discord. You're welcome for the stories. Sleep well. Hey, Helly, what's going on? Alright, it's naked time. No, I'm just kidding. I do have to start getting ready for bed soon, though. Yeah, I went downstairs. I let the song play and then I read some stories and stuff. It was fun. Not on YouTube, I don't. So how was your day, Helly? I saw the tweet you sent. I do think I'm gonna go offline here pretty soon, though. Well, yeah. So when does a dad joke, or when does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. I'm getting more people in here, and I'm about to go. I was just offline. Like I was just playing, and then Helly popped in here, and then I popped on. Like I did end my stream like I don't know, 15 minutes ago. Um, boop. Oh, there goes the socks. There we go. Make you Chappy stream. Anyways, I'm gonna go offline. You're aroused. I bet you are. I'm saving that. Funny pictures. It's a good one. This app is so broken. Can't save it. Well, alright. Good night. Like the dog's great. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here. You folks have a wonderful night. And I'll be back live again tomorrow, maybe earlier. Now we've got 4 people in here. We're gaining viewers again. I don't know who all's in here. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm getting viewers again. No, I'm back up to 6. Oh, crap. Oh, man. I already said goodbye once like 15 minutes ago. Ugh, I do have to go to sleep. Um, but yeah, so this is, oh yeah, there it goes. It says 5 on here now. Alright, y'all have until I finish my tea. There we go. I can't very well drink tea when I'm sleeping. And I love you all too. Thank you. Maybe I can read you another quick story. A super late night after hour story. Not that one, because that one is way too long. Oh, that's right, because I went to all the best ones. I'm not gonna read you guys the best ones. Give me a break here. Yeet Miser Whitman. It's a funny name. Do I know you? Hey Dio, what's happening? Yeah, I haven't signed off yet. I thought I did. Well, I don't know the name Yeetmeister. True Value. Dad. I'm not Dad, and I don't work at True Value. Wait. What's up with all these people? And oh, did Dad say something? Oh, it's a dad raid? Oh, jeez. Oh, what's going on, guys? Brothers pinged everyone. He did. What's going on, guys? Maybe I'll read y'all one more story. Hi from the Dad Discord. Hello. I'm Chappy. I am troublemaker Chappy. So, if y'all ever wondered what I look like or sounded like, this is me. You're trying to get me to 1,000 subscribers, so I mean, it's up to you. I'd appreciate it because Crothers is Crothers, and he's good people. But when we do a story, I can't find him. Maybe this one. Let me fix. Give it 1 second. Do 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 do. Oh, there we go. Yep. What's happened? This one seems pretty short. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. The story's called I've Been on the Run with My Father for 2 weeks, and I've just found out why. Here's the link, because you know words are hard. Okay? I woke up on the night of my 18th birthday to find my father packing my clothes and valuables into a small black bag. In my half-sleep days, I asked no questions. Instead, just rubbed my eyes and moaned about finding my shoes as he moved me into the car. We'd moved all the time when I was a kid, and I think I'm so used to being on the move that part of me didn't question it. I've had a couple beers the night before, and they were clearly still in my system. I passed out with my head against the window. It was when I came to early in the morning that I realized something was wrong. My father was gripping the wheel tight, his his face strained with stress, and something I hadn't seen in a while, fear. It was when I came to early in the morning that I realized, just read that paragraph, whatever. Dad, the back seat is cluttered. My black bag, 2 sleeping bags, a tent, a few large books, a crucifix hung over our front door, small shovel and a glass box filled with soil. He stays silent, eyes focused on the road ahead. I reached into the back and leaned forward, straining against the seatbelt to take the glass box and place it on my lap. There's a wire mesh lid, and I absent-mindedly rub my thumb over, try to see what's inside. Just as I begin to notice something amongst the dirt and bark, my father starts speaking. He tells me that from now on, in my life, there are 3 rules. First, you can't use your real name. I notice as 2 furry prongs appear from under a large flake of bark. Second rule, you can't trust anyone. I nod, absorbing the information, but also engrossed in the reveal of whatever was in the glass tank. A large black spider crawls out from under the bark and crawls into the glass, pouring its front 4 feelers against the glass as if it wants to get out. Hey, AJ. He takes a deep breath, as if he doesn't want to mention the last one. If you're ever in danger, try and cross running water. Why? I asked, confused. Danger from what? What would be crossing the river? What would be crossing, running the river help anything? Because she can't. I would have argued, have asked why, but to this day, I've never seen such an expression in genuine fear, let alone in my father. So I shut my mouth and watched the horizon. He doesn't need to explain more. And we ride in silence through the empty morning roads. We spend the next few weeks in a strange sort of routine. We buy food with cash in the evenings and eat it in the mornings, sitting on a porch in our tent. Staying still to avoid the dew on the thick fabric around us. We then pack up our stuff and hop back in the car, driving for hours and hours until we reach somewhere to stop for a meal. We have the counts for both lunch and dinner. We stay in national parks, laybys on back roads, parking lots on the outskirts of cities. My father avoids certain areas. We will often spend an hour examining the flora and fauna of any given location before attaching various herbs to the poles in our tents or drawing strange markings in the dirt. Every morning my father roots around in the dirt with his thick fingers until he finds a bug or a beetle of suitable size. Then he spits all over its shell or carapace and places it inside the glass box with the spider. I don't know if he's just feeding it or if there's something else going on. But he'll then watch the spider closely, taking notes on its movements, how long it takes to strike, whether it ignores the prey entirely and instead chooses to push it against the glass as if it wants to escape. Sometimes he says things to the spider, although never quite loudly enough for me to hear. I begin to develop my own set of paranoid theories. We sleep in too long, it feels as if the wind begins to change. And sometimes in the distance, I feel as if you can make out a tiny white spot on the horizon making its way towards us. Of course, I thought this could all be paranoia until recently. We meet up with Peter, a priest of the family, who seemed much older than I recall, and I have no recollection at all of his missing fingers. He asks my father, "How far away is she?" My father says he doesn't know, but she's close. And Peter gives up sage and pages of a book in a language I don't understand, and juniper berries. And my father nods as if Peter has confirmed something he already knew. We make our first mistake after 11 days on the road. We're arguing in the car, the same argument we've played out over and over again. I'm telling him that I needed to know more, that keeping me in the dark wasn't going to help anyone. And he's telling me that I'm too young, and that I'm not ready. We'll keep getting louder and louder until we're yelling, and he pulls over the car in a lay-by, puts his forehead on the steering wheel. We need to sleep. Properly, I mean. It was true. I hadn't slept properly since we left our house. Woken several times a night by my father turning on flashlights to check at the small noise, or my father lighting some strange herb hours before sunrise, just moving about, evidently awake and listening. We pull over at Sunrise Motel, greeted by a faint neon sign and an overwhelming stench. The skip was overflowing with bin bags, and it looked as if the garbage hadn't been taken out in weeks. My father needs to check the perimeter, or something like that. And so I left it to me to book the room, which is the first mistake. The woman behind the counter is friendly. She smiles when I walk in. She seems to be in her late 50s, and her smile lines and plump cheeks indicate that she's enjoyed every one of those 50 years. When she leans over to write my name, I can smell roasted meat and garlic. She asks me my name, and I tell her my first. I'm about to tell her my second when I stop. She looks at me, confused. I make up a bad joke, something about never being sure if people can spell it. She assures me that she can, yes. She can probably spell it. My name. My mind goes blank as if I can't think of anything, so I end up giving her my second name. My real second name. I know I shouldn't have, but at that time, it had a sort of logic to it. I tell my father in the morning, and it would take a while for whoever was chasing us to find the hotel and ask for me, or to somehow check electronically. It, I was, at this stage, still thinking very much in the realm of the expected. I start walking up to the room she's given us, planning to find our room, have a quick shower before meeting back up with my father, but the corridor goes on much longer than I expected. The same pattern, red and blue and black checkered all over and over. Geometrical shapes somehow forced together in patterns that seem as if it could go on for eternity. I turn left, the same pattern. I turn right, the same continues. And it begins to feel like it will. I look up and realize that I've been walking down this corridor for about 5 minutes straight. I look to my right. The room number of the door to my right is M113, as in the 113th room, whereas in the 13th room on the first floor, I begin to feel a little sick. Something's wrong. I try to make my way towards the lobby, but I find it difficult to remember when I turn right or left. And the pattern and the cheap decor means everything looks the same. I start to jog now, dragging my bag along the floor as my pulse starts to rise. I'm sure that I followed my original route and that I should at least be able to see the lobby from here. But instead the corridors now stretch on in all directions, and I pause to catch my breath and try to think. That's when I hear what sounds like a muffled sound of footsteps. The sound of multiple feet on the carpet making their way towards me. And for reasons I can't explain, this scares me even more. And I start to run, to actually run. And what terrifies me even more is that the footsteps of whatever's following me began to run too. And so they match pace of mine. And sometimes, when I turn a corner, out of the corner of my eye, I see something that looks like a figure at the other end of the corridor, but only for a second. Like the way light stays burnt into your retina after looking at the sun. And that's all I can do is run and run and run and shout my father's name until I slam into my father. The force knocks us both to the floor. What the? I try to explain, but I'm out of breath, and I can't get my words out, and he can see from my face that something's wrong. He yanks me up by my arm, pulls me into the lobby and through the lobby, waving a burning roll of herbs in his free hand, all but throwing me into the passenger seat as he climbs into the car and drives off. I use my real name, I said. After a while, ashamed, he looks to me. Doesn't matter. That place was a trap from the start. I think of the smiling woman and the smell of roasted meat and feel sick again. But at least you know now. He's right. I do. I don't know how many people are still left in here. It says 9. No, I'm dark now. That's better. Alright, well, I am probably going to go to sleep now. It's good tea. Hey Amber, how you doing today? I can't go offline until I finish my tea. And probably my Dr. Pepper. But I'm going to start winding down. Well, hello, good night. It was an alright story. I messed up a few times, but oh, someone explain the story. Vampires. Garlic. Her breath smelling like garlic. Yeah. Look forward to the next stream. I look forward to all of you, a fraction of you joining. I appreciate you all coming to see me. Brothers, if you're still out there, thank you very much. I've got a lot of people rooting for me to get to 1,000, so hopefully I can hit it. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Nathan Bardat, that deep fake dad guy. Dad copied Nathan, but Nathan's been trying to hit me to 1,000. Now Crothers is, and I think Dad has. Really weird. But yeah, so if y'all subscribed, I love you long time. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, tea's done. I think I'm gonna finish the Dr. Pepper right now. This Chappy's got to be awake at 5 in the morning. So, give me light. Yeah. Alright, guys. Well, I love you all. Thank you all for coming. Even though I said I was going to go offline 45 minutes ago. It was just a fluke that I came back. And then I got inundated with people. But, y'all have a good night. I will see y'all tomorrow. And maybe I'll stream a little bit earlier. I got caught up in looking at old pictures of my mom and my aunt and my great-grandfather that I knew when I was much, much younger. That's what kind of held me up from streaming. Don't smoke, kids. Well, until next time.